because of the shutdowns. Patients missing routine checkups that could detect things like heart problems, cancer, increases in substance abuse, increases in financial instability that could lead to, quote, poverty and financial uncertainty, which is closely linked to poor health, end of quote. These are excerpts of the letter. We are alarmed at what appears to be a lack of consideration for the future health of our patients. The downstream health effects are being massively underestimated and underreported. This is an order of magnitude error. The millions of casualties of a continued shutdown will be hiding in plain sight, but they will be called alcoholism, homelessness, suicide, heart attack, stroke, kidney failure. In youths, it will be called financial instability, unemployment, despair, drug addiction, unplanned pregnancies, poverty, abuse. Because the harm is diffuse, there are those who hold it does not exist. We, the undersigned, know otherwise. Patient ES is a mother with 2 children whose office job was reduced to part-time and whose husband was furloughed. The father is drinking more, the mother is depressed and not managing her diabetes well, and the children are barely doing any schoolwork, end of quote. Here's another one. Patient AF has chronic but previously stable health conditions. Her elective hip replacement was delayed, which caused her to become nearly sedentary, resulting in a pulmonary embolism in April, end of quote. A psychiatrist talks about a 31-year-old patient with history of depression who was attending school to get a master's degree, died 2 weeks ago, overdose. He blames the government-imposed shutdown. Quote, she had to stay in her apartment, essentially in house arrest, as most people here in L.A. were for weeks and weeks and weeks, and she could not see her therapist. She could not speak to the therapist over the phone. She could speak to the therapist over the phone, but she couldn't see her in person. She could not attend any of her group meetings, which were helping to maintain her abstinence from opiates, and she relapsed into depression. She was just too withdrawn to ask for help. She was simply trying to escape from her pain. I do blame these actions by the government for her death, end of quote, said this shrink. And again, the initial argument was that in order to prevent the hospital system from being overwhelmed, we needed to do this. And one doctor said it was a valid argument in the beginning based on the models that were given. Quote, what we've seen over the last 3 months, says this doctor, is that no city, none, zero, outside of New York, has even been significantly stressed. End of quote. This is one of the doctors who signed the lawyer. And he said flattening the curve was never meant to reduce the total number of people who will fall ill. Rather, the flattening the curve stuff was meant to reduce the number of people who are sick at any given time to avoid a surge in cases, so therefore the healthcare system does not get overwhelmed. Well, hasn't gotten overwhelmed except in New York. And so everything else is shut down as a result of that?